Hello, and welcome to Anticipated Hope. My name is Megan. Some stories are born from abundance, others are born from hunger. Tonight, whenever you're listening, I want to share a story about a single moment. A moment when kindness chose courage, even when there was almost nothing left. A young girl faced a decision that would change more than just her own life. This is a story about compassion, about faith in humanity. This is the story of Amara, the girl who shared her last meal.
They say hunger makes people selfish. They say when survival is at stake, kindness disappears. But this is the story of a girl who proved the world wrong. Her name was Amara. Amara lived in a small, dusty village at the edge of a forgotten road. The land there was tired, the soil cracked under the sun, and the wind carried more sand than promise. Rain rarely visited. Crops struggled to grow. And many nights, families went to sleep with empty stomachs and quiet prayers whispered into the dark. Amara was only 13 years old, but life had already taught her lessons most adults never learn. Her mother had passed away years earlier, and her father, once strong, once full of laughter, had grown weak after months of sickness. Some mornings he could barely stand. Some days he could barely speak. That morning, Amara woke to the sound she feared most. Her father coughing. She rushed to his side, holding his hand, feeling how thin his fingers had become. He tried to smile for her, the way he always did, but she saw through it. "Don't worry, my brave girl," he whispered. "We'll be okay." Amara nodded, even though her heart wasn't sure. She walked into their small kitchen and opened the last clay pot. Inside was a single portion of porridge, just enough for one meal, for one person. She stood there quietly, staring at it. No tears, no panic, just silence. This was it, their last meal. She cooked it slowly, carefully, stirring as if patience alone could make it grow. When it was ready, she poured it into a bowl and carried it to her father. "You eat," she said softly. Her father shook his head. "No, Amara, you need it more." They sat there, gently pushing the bowl back and forth between them, neither willing to take the last bite from the other. Finally, Amara smiled. "Let's share it later. I'm not hungry yet." But she was hungry, very hungry. She stepped outside to clear her thoughts. That's when she saw the stranger. He stood near the road, his clothes dusty, his shoulders slumped, like he had been carrying the world for too long. He looked around, unsure, then slowly sat beneath a tree, resting his head in his hands. Amara watched him. Something about his stillness felt heavy, not dangerous, just empty. Her mind spoke first. "You have nothing to give." But her heart whispered back, "He has even less." She walked inside, picked up the bowl, their last meal, and held it close. Her hands trembled. Her father looked at her, confused. "Where are you going?" "I'll be right back," she said. She approached the stranger slowly. "Sir?" she said gently. He looked up, startled, then embarrassed. "I'm sorry if I scared you." "You didn't," she replied. "Are you hungry?" The man hesitated, then his voice cracked. "I haven't eaten in 2 days." Amara looked down at the bowl. This was the moment where fear and kindness collide. She could walk away. No one would blame her, but instead, she held out the bowl. "It's not much," she said, "but please, take it." The man stared at her in disbelief. "Child, I can't take this. You need it." She shook her head gently. "Please." He accepted it with trembling hands and ate slowly, like someone afraid the food might disappear if he rushed. When he finished, tears rolled down his cheeks. "Why?" he asked. "Why would you give this to me?" Amara smiled softly. Because if I were hungry, she said, I would hope someone would do the same for me. The man stood, reached into his worn bag, and pulled out a small cloth pouch. Inside were seeds. Plant these, he said. Share what grows. And with that, he walked down the road and disappeared. That night, Amara and her father slept hungry, but their hearts were full. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Villagers gathered outside their home. One by one, they arrived, carrying grain, vegetables, bread. A traveler passed through, a woman said. He told us about a girl who shared her last meal. Another added, he said kindness like that should never starve. Weeks later, Amara planted the seeds. Rain came, the soil welcomed them. The crops grew tall, golden, abundant, and Amara never forgot hunger. Whenever someone passed through the village tired or lost, she welcomed them. She fed them. She shared. And the village changed. Years later, when people asked how they survived their hardest days, Amara would smile and say, "It started with one meal and one choice." That's the end of the story. Thank you for listening, and remember that true wealth is not what you keep, it's what you share when it's hardest to let go.